Did you know that before our humanity, there were 4 worlds that came before us? Some lived in paradise and knew no suffering. Others were destroyed. The third destroyed themselves in endless wars. Heroes fought monsters, journeyed to the edge of the world, and earned immortal glory. And then came the age that many consider the most dangerous of all, the age in which we live today. The first world was born during the reign of Cronus, the mighty ruler of the Titans. In those distant times, the earth was completely different. There was no hunger. There was no poverty. There was no war. There was no crime. People did not need to work in order to survive. The earth provided its fruits freely. The fields yielded harvests on their own. Fruit trees were covered with fruit all year long. The rivers were pure. The weather remained gentle. There was no scorching heat. There were no bitter winters. There was no fear of tomorrow. People lived alongside the gods. They did not hide behind walls. They carried no weapons. They felt no envy. They did not hoard wealth. Everything they needed was already within reach. They lived long and happy lives. And when the time came to leave this world, death was like a peaceful sleep, without pain, without suffering, without regret. But even this perfect world was not eternal. In the heavens, the greatest war in history began. The young Olympian gods, led by Zeus, rose against the Titans. For 10 years, the battle raged. Lightning tore across the sky. Mountains crumbled. Seas boiled with the fury of the gods. In the end, the Titans were defeated. Cronus fell. His rule came to an end. And with him ended the age of the Golden Generation. The people were not punished. They were not destroyed. They simply vanished along with the old order of the world. Their souls became invisible guardians of humanity. It is said that they still watch over the world. They see both good and evil, and they remember the time when humans were closer to the gods. After the end of the Golden Age, a new era began. Zeus created a new humanity. Long before the world changed forever, Prometheus watched over the fate of mortals. A wise titan whose name meant the one who thinks ahead. According to ancient legends, it was Prometheus who shaped humanity from clay and water. He gave them human form. He taught them to look at the stars. He taught them to think. He taught them to understand the world around them. And from the very beginning, he became their protector. Prometheus saw what the other gods did not. He saw how fragile human life truly was. How easily cold, hunger, or the wilderness could destroy mortals. And so he decided to give humanity a gift that would change its destiny forever. He stole the sacred fire from the heavens and brought it to mankind. Along with the flame, humanity received far more than warmth. People learned to forge metal, to build ships, to create tools, to cultivate the land, to raise cities, to study the stars, to pass knowledge from one generation to the next. In many ways, this was the beginning of civilization itself. But every great gift comes with a price. And as humanity gained new knowledge, it moved closer to a new trial. This was the Silver Generation. At first, everything seemed wonderful. These people lived for a very long time. Their childhood lasted for decades. For nearly a century, they remained under the protection of their mothers. They knew no hardship. They knew no responsibility. They knew no true labor. But this became their greatest weakness. When they finally grew up, they remained immature in spirit. They became arrogant. They refused to listen to wisdom. They did not honor the gods. They offered no sacrifices. They gave no thanks for the gifts they received. They believed the world existed only for them. And little by little, they began to lose what had once made humanity great: humility, respect, gratitude. Zeus watched them for a long time. But eventually he realized that a humanity that recognized no order was doomed. Then the gods created Pandora. Hephaestus shaped her from clay. Athena taught her the crafts and clothed her in splendid garments. Aphrodite gifted her beauty and charm. Hermes gave her cunning, curiosity, and the power of persuasion. The other gods brought their gifts as well. That is why she was called Pandora, the all-gifted. Each god gave her something wonderful. But no mortal knew that along with these gifts, she carried a trial that would change the world forever. With her came a mysterious jar in which all the evils of the world had been sealed. When its lid was opened, sickness escaped into the world. Suffering, old age, grief, envy, fear, greed, endless toil. From that day forward, humanity could no longer live as it had in the Golden Age. But when Pandora closed the jar, one thing still remained inside: hope. And it was hope that allowed humanity to endure every trial that followed. And from that moment on, each new generation drifted farther away from the perfection of the lost Golden Age. And so the Silver Age came to an end. One day its people vanished from the world as mysteriously as they had appeared. After them came the third generation, the most dangerous of them all. It is said that the gods created these people from ash trees. And along with their bodies, they inherited the hardness of wood and the coldness of metal. They became people of war. Their entire lives revolved around strength. They built fortresses. They forged weapons. They trained for battle. They crafted bronze swords, bronze spears, bronze shields, bronze armor. They cared little for art. They sought no wisdom. They desired no peace. They believed only in strength. And gradually, war became the purpose of their existence. They fought for land, then for wealth, then for glory, and eventually, simply because they could not live without war. And then the inevitable happened. They destroyed themselves. The gods did not bring an end to the Bronze Age. No monsters did. No disasters did. Only their own brutality. For the first time, humanity itself became the cause of its downfall. After so many mistakes, it seemed that humanity would never rise again. But then came the age that many consider the most glorious in all ancient history. The Age of Heroes. The last great flowering of mankind. In those days, the descendants of God still walked among mortals. The world was filled with wonders. People saw dragons. They fought giants. They journeyed to the ends of the earth. This was the age of Heracles, Perseus, Theseus, Bellerophon, Jason and the Argonauts, Achilles, Odysseus. This was the age of the Trojan War. This was the age of the deeds that remain the greatest legends of humanity to this day. But even heroes could not live forever. One by one, they left the world behind. And when the last great war ended, so too did the Age of Heroes. The greatest among them were sent by the gods to the Isles of the Blessed, a place without winter, without old age, where the earth bears fruit 3 times each year, where the sea is always calm, where heroes live forever beneath the golden light of the setting sun.
These treasures are mine.
But even after the Age of Heroes, humanity began to decline once more. People became cruel, greedy,
now only the strong survive.
merciless.
Hoard everything while others starve. That died with the old age.
And so Zeus decided to cleanse the world. A great flood came upon the earth. The rains fell without end. Rivers burst their banks. Cities disappeared beneath the waters. Mountains became islands. Nearly all humanity perished. Only Deucalion, the son of Prometheus, and his wife Pyrrha survived. When the waters finally receded, they stood alone in a devastated world. Then the gods commanded them to throw stones over their shoulders. The stones cast by Deucalion became men. The stones cast by Pyrrha became women. and thus a new humanity was born. According to Greek tradition, it is from them that modern humanity descends. Then came the final age, our age, the Iron Age. An age of great knowledge and great trials. Humanity learned to build empires, to conquer the seas, to explore the heavens, to create marvelous machines. But in doing so, it began to lose something precious: honor, justice, gratitude, respect, trust. Brothers turned against brothers. Children stopped listening to their parents. Justice could be bought. Truth became harder to distinguish from lies, and the ancient sages warned, a day would come when humanity would lose all shame and all justice. Then Astrea, the goddess of justice, would leave the earth. And other immortal guardians would follow her, leaving humanity alone with the consequences of its own choices. The ancient Greeks believed that humanity had already lived through many worlds. One vanished with the Titans. Another fell because of its own pride. A third destroyed itself through war. A fourth left behind only legends of heroes. The fifth is the one we live in now. But if every age before ours eventually came to an end, if even the greatest civilizations could not escape their fate, will the Iron Age truly be the exception? Or are we already standing on the threshold of a sixth age? An age for which no prophecy remains. An age that humanity will create with its own hands. And it is up to us whether it becomes a new golden age or the final chapter in the story of humankind. If you enjoyed this myth, please give the video a like, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you won't miss the next stories. Thank you for watching, and see you in the next video.